What if Deku had solo leveling part 8? So, if I remember correctly, last time whenever I left off, Deku just finished defeating that Takeshi guy who was trying to assassinate him, and then started his conquest on the 20 C rank gates so that he and Momo can create a guild. Or actually, no, it's more like Momo wants to make a guild, so Deku is helping. Yeah, okay. So, it is the second day of Deku's conquest on those 20 C rank gates. And it is Deku's 5th C rank gate, meaning 5 out of 20. And on this particular gate, Deku walked up to that hoodie guy. Remember that guy? Yeah, that guy that Deku recognized? Yeah, that guy. Deku walked up to him and said, "Hey, you alright?" Huh? What do you mean? I'm fine. Just go and clear your gate, man. Yeah, sure, but this isn't why you're here, right? Deku moving closer to that guy's ear and saying, "Katsuki." Deku leaning back and saying, "You also don't have to lower your voice, you know, it doesn't sound very good." Bakugo taking off his hoodie and saying, "What gave me out?" Your hands." "What? What about my hands?" "I mean your gloves. Those All Might limited edition gloves. Yeah, did you really forget that I'm the one who gave them to you?" Right, I forgot." "Wait, that's how you found out? Dude, there's like 100 of these out there. How do you know that this is mine?" "Well, don't you have school? Why are you here?" "Hey, don't change the subject!" "Just answer me, Katsuki." "To get stronger. Duh." "Hey, Midoriya, what's the hold up?" Turning around, Deku yelled, "I'll be there soon, give me a second." With Deku turning towards Bakugo saying, "Well, as you see, chatting time's over. Bye. Oh, and good luck on your waiting." "Hey, Izuku." Deku turning back saying, What's up?" "Let me join." I don't know. You'll just drag down the efficiency." Are you saying that I'm weak? I'm not, just so you know that." Blah blah blah. "I know you're strong, but not in a dungeon. I'm sure you already know this, but just so you know, quirks and monsters do not mix. The monsters can hurt you, but your quirks cannot hurt them. Even if they can, it won't be that much of an effect. So you'll be useless unless you have a sword that you can use, or you can use magic." "Katsuki, how much mana do you have?" Why do I have to tell you, Izuku?" "Because, depending on your answer, I'm going to let you in or not, so say it." 10. What was that? 10, alright? My mana level is only at 10, so... So much for the Explosion King. "Hey, I heard that!" Right. Deku turning around and walking away, leaving Bakugo very annoyed. However, that was when Deku just stopped and said, "Hey Katsuki, are you coming or not?" "Huh?" Now, over at the gate entrance, Momo is just waiting there with her helmet and is, well, a bit impatient, as those when Deku and Bakugo arrived. Momo asking, "Hey, what took you so long?" Oh no, it's just that we have company, look." Momo looking over at Bakugo and saying, "Yeah, he's someone that we hired, right?" "Yeah, about that. He's coming with." But that wasn't in the contract. We just paid them to sit there." "Well, he volunteered, right?" Yes, I did volunteer. So can you please let me in?" Momo looking at Bakugo, and then looking at Deku, who is trying his best to not laugh, saying, do you two know each other? Yes, we do. Bakugo looking at Deku and saying, well, Mr. Izuku, can I drop it now? No, Mr. Bakugo, continue to be as polite as you were. With veins popping out of Bakugo's head, Bakugo yelled, I've had it, Izuku! I'm done playing! Now let me in! Alright. Well then, enough of the chit-chat. Let's just go in. As Momo, Deku, and Bakugo would enter through the gate. And on the other side, Deku and Bakugo are killing monsters, while Momo is just, well, handling the mining. As for how Bakugo is killing the monsters, well, Deku just basically borrowed some broken daggers that he got from his, well, instant dungeon, and he just gave it to Bakugo so that Bakugo now can just kill monsters with the broken daggers. However, halfway through the dungeon, the dagger broke. The dagger broke. Bakugo wanted to ask Deku to give him one more, but Deku refused. So now Bakugo has to go in barehanded. I mean, he has his explosions, but they are weak as hell compared to the monsters. But this is when Deku told Bakugo that he wanted to test out a theory, which is whether mana-infused quirks would do as much damage as a normal, like fireball or just any magic. So Deku basically told Bakugo to infuse his explosions with mana, which Bakugo did not know how to do. But after some trials and errors, Bakugo did it. He imbued or infused mana with his quirk, and, well, it did quite a lot more damage than just using his quirk. In fact, his mana-infused explosions against monsters are now as strong as when he uses normal explosions against humans. So yay, Deku's theory worked. And now Bakugo is just going crazy because he can finally kill monsters with his own explosions, which is quite his style. So now, the rest of the dungeon is just kaboom Bakugo and kaboom Bakugo and kaboom Bakugo. Oh, and the boss monster? One for all explosion. Yeah. However, now that Bakugo has a taste of blood, he wants more, and more, and more. I.e., the rest of the gates that Deku and Momo are going to clear that day is basically going to be given to Bakugo as training. I mean, Momo and Deku are still inside the gate, but they are mostly just mining the magic ores and just watching Bakugo exploding this and exploding that. At the end of the day, they cleared 9 out of 20 gates. In total, of course. And on the way back home, Bakugo and Deku are just, well, chatting. As that was when Bakugo brought up the fact that they are going to be having a UA sports festival. Oh, and as for what happened in the USJ, nothing happened. It was carried out without any villain attacks. Yeah. Reason? Well, the Nomu is being upgraded, let's just say. Deku saying, oh yeah, the sports festival, I forgot. Would have been nice if I could join, but, well, dungeon calls. Wait, so that's why you wanted to get stronger. You want to show off to All Might, don't you? Of course I do. I'm going to show off to the whole world that I will be the next #1 hero. Right. #1 hero. Deku, remembering that a long time ago he also wanted to be the #1 hero. Bakugo reaching his hand into his pocket and saying, "Here, take it." Him taking out something from his pocket and slamming it into Deku's chest. Continuing with, "You always wanted to participate in the UA Sports Festival, right?" Deku taking the thing that Bakugo gave him and seeing that it is a ticket to the UA Sports Festival. Deku being speechless, since he never actually thought that Bakugo would remember the fact that Deku also wanted to be a hero. Deku smiling, as Bakugo would just say, "Consider us even, Izuku. Thanks for helping me get stronger." Deku saying, "Well, I guess I can take one day off." "You better come, Deku, otherwise it's just a waste of paper." Yeah. Well, since you did give me this, I should give something back to you." "What? No! Didn't I just say that we're even?" "Well, you want to get stronger, right? So, tomorrow, I'll take a day off and do something else. You can go into the dungeon with Momo, and get used to infusing mana into your explosions, along with getting more experience with fighting. Yeah, win-win." Now, on the next day, it is just as Deku said. Deku did not appear at the place where they are supposed to, basically rendezvous and then go into the dungeon. Momo asking Bakugo where Deku is, which the annoyed Bakugo just said that he had something to do, and or by he I mean Deku, with Momo getting a bit suspicious as to what Deku is doing. And as for what Deku is actually doing, he went into that job change dungeon, which you and I both know what is going to happen. So, I am just not going to elaborate on the details. If you want to know what is literally happening, just read Solo Leveling because it's basically the same. As for the specific chapter, it is from chapter 38 to chapter 45. But in summary, Deku went into the job change dungeon. He found that it is filled with knights. You know, those like medieval times knights. Yeah, those. Deku fought his way through the knights and up until the boss, which is, you and I both know, Icarus, the badass Red Knight. After a brutal fight between Deku and the Red Knight, Icarus, Deku was able to barely win the fight. And after getting the drops and stuff, Deku found out that it is not the end of the quest yet, because now the quest changed into a survival quest, as knights begin to swarm the room and just, going in and trying to kill Deku. And Deku is trying his best to survive. But just as Deku was, about to get killed, he was transported into the penalty zone because it just hit midnight. And yes, Deku did not sleep well that night. And by that night, I mean after returning home with Bakugo. Because right after he did and went into his room and pretend to sleep, he just went out and went into the dungeon. And when Deku was in the penalty zone, he changed that penalty zone into a grinder, basically a place to grind levels, which he used to its fullest, killing every single one of the worms that appeared in front of him, and also using the shop where he bought a second dagger, which was literally called Night Killer. So after getting himself ready, having a bit more HP because his max HP increased, and a new weapon, whenever Deku was kicked out of the penalty zone, he is sent straight back into the job change dungeon, to which Deku, whenever he arrived back there, he immediately just went all out, destroying every single knight in his way and in front of him. And after surviving and destroying every knight there, Deku has got his job, which you and I both know was necromancy. Actually no, it just upgraded and then straight to Shadow Monarch. Yep, Shadow Monarch, yeah. As for the word for reviving the dead, say it with me now, arise! After that, Deku just, well, he exited the dungeon and went straight to bed because he's tired AF. So, yeah, when Bakugo and Momo was doing those C-rank dungeons, Deku was sleeping through the entire day. Now, we'll time skip to 2 days later, where the sports festival happened. Oh, and within those 2 days, Deku, Momo, and Bakugo managed to clear 19 out of 20 of those C-rank gates. So, back to the sports festival. Deku arrived on time, of course. He is now just strolling around or just walking around and, grabbing some food, looking at new heroes, and yeah, just having a fun time. As there would be an announcement about the main course of the sports festival. Deku arriving at the stadium, he would, well, see every single one of the classes of UA. Class 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, and all those stuff. While listening to what the teachers of UA has to say, Deku is just looking at the classes, trying to find someone that he knows. Which he does! Because that guy is next to go up on stage. Bakugo walking up the stage and... but this time, he does not disrespect everyone, just said that they're just trash. Well, I mean, the things he said has the same meaning, but in just a more polite way and not just the bastard way. Anyways, first up, the race. Which, without Todoroki and Deku being there, Bakugo just gets first place, even without using One for All. Next, the cavalry battle, which, yeah, Bakugo just dominates again because no Deku and no Todoroki. Finally, the 1v1 tournament, which Bakugo just almost lost straight up because his first opponent is just Shinso. So, yeah, Bakugo and his loudmouth, but he was saved by One for All. Shock, yeah. And proceeds to just blast Shinso out of the tournament. Or should I say just the arena. Next up, Bakugo vs Kirishima. Bakugo wins because One for All and kaboom. And I would continue until Bakugo just straight up wins the entire sports festival, but there is a slight problem. Since there was no USJ attack, the security around or the security in the sports festival is lowered by quite a bit. So it is opened to a villain attack. And not only that, but unfortunately, there is also a gate opening like straight up in a corner of the sports festival. Like, like just right in front of like the audience place, but in a corner? Yeah, that. However, not many people paid attention to that because the villains are just straight up in the middle of the entire arena. And you may be asking, dude, there is like a lot of heroes there, and All Might. Why the hell would the villains be so stupid to just open a portal using Kirigiri in the middle of the sports festival? Well, you will be right. However, you forgot about one thing. Remember the USJ Nomu? Yeah, it's there. And also it is upgraded. Not only that, there is also like 5 more low-end but still mid Nomus there, which are all upgraded also. As for what the upgrades are, to put it simple, All for One bought some monster corpses in the black market and just used them as a base for the Nomus. Yeah, meaning now quirks have little to no effect on the Nomus. But that's not the only problem. Just because quirks now have little to no effect on the Nomus doesn't mean that they cannot use them. So now there are 6 fairly very OP Nomu, even though there is only 5 low ends and 1 mid end. Now, while the heroes and the villains are fighting against each other, every single one of the civilians are of course panicking and they're trying their best to just run away, which is causing the crowd to, bump into each other and causing like a huge ruckus, or just causing a huge mess. But within that crowd of civilians, there is Deku, sitting down and just thinking on what he should do next. Should he go down there and help the heroes? Or should he, run away because he is a hunter and not a hero? But while Deku is choosing which he should, do, that was when he gets a phone call. Deku picking up the phone, he sees that it is Bakugo, saying, "What is it, Katsuki?" "Hey, Izuku, where are you?" "I'm in the crowd. Look, listen." Deku raising his phone in the air and just letting Bakugo hear all those shouting like, "Save my kid! Run! Run! Run!" Those stuff, Putting back the phone next to his ear, Deku says, "You heard that?" "Yeah, loud and clear. So, what should we do?" "What should we do? What do you mean? I'm a hunter and you're a hero, or at least in the future. Not to mention the #1 hero in the future, right? So, Mr. #1 hero of the future, what should we do? Because I am just a lowly weakling. Please tell me what to do." How can you be so relaxed in this situation, Izuku? Well, after you've been in as many dungeons as I have, you will know that panicking will do nothing but put you in danger. Or should I say even more danger. Okay, got it. Right. Izuku. Yes? Come to the Class 1A changing room. Right, you got a plan, right? Yeah, I guess so. Just come here already. I'll be right there. As while Deku is making his way to the Class 1A changing room, he would meet someone that he thought he would never actually get to see again. Ochako Uraraka, who actually got into UA, but just not in Class 1A. She is in the general department. However, even though Deku saw her, he didn't think that this would be a good time to, have a reunion, so he just continued his way to the Class 1A changing room, knocking on the door as it will open, revealing basically the entire Class 1A being there, with Kaminari who opened the door asking, hi, bye. Him closing the door, but before he can, Deku would have, put his leg between the door and ask, "Excuse me, is Katsuki here?" As in the far back of the room, Deku would hear Bakugo yelling, "Let him in, Kaminari, he's my friend." Which would actually surprise everyone, with everyone saying, "You have a friend? What, you got a problem with someone having friends?" Kaminari opening the door once again, as Deku would ask, "So, what's the plan? And also, why are they here?" Well, if you have forgotten, they're my classmates. Yeah, I know that. I'm asking, why are they still here? Kirishima interrupting, saying, because we want to help. We're future heroes. We should. It's just that we don't know how to help. We are students, and we don't have the license to use our quirks. Great, so you don't have a plan. Bakugo saying, we will if you can help, Izuku. So are you helping? Well, since I'm already here, how can I help? Bakugo saying, you, me, and the redhead are gonna go fight. The rest of you are gonna go evacuate the civilians. Class 1A saying, what? Bakugo elaborating, saying, the way I see it, us three are the only ones who can go up against all of those villains. The rest of you are either too weak or too stupid to be left alone. Jiro saying, but we can still help. Bakugo just yelling, you are helping! With the civilians out of the way, the heroes can go all out without thinking about the collateral damage. Not to mention, us three are the only ones who don't rely on hero gear. Plus, these two are the only ones right now who I trust can watch my back. Ida saying, I disagree. If you go out there and use your quirk, it'll be against the rules. We are still students, and we don't have a license to use our quirk. We have to follow the rules. And what? Yelled Bakugo. When your life is at stake, would you follow the rules and die, or would you use your quirk to survive? This just silencing the whole room. Bakugo continuing with, I don't care anymore. Bakugo standing up and walking away, continuing with, all of you can go die for all I care. But if you do decide to come give your life away, stay out of our way. Bakugo opening the door and saying, we're leaving, as he walks out of the room. Kirishima looking at Deku and asking, what should we do now? Deku turning around and looking at everyone saying, look, Katsuki is right. From what I have saw from you guys, all of you don't stand a chance against the villains. But being a hero doesn't only mean beating the bad guys. It also means keeping the ones in need safe, protecting the innocent. That is also a job of heroes. If you can't beat the villains, then go save the ones caught in the crossfires. As for me, I have a bomb to catch. Deku turning around and trying to follow Bakugo, with Kirishima following him shortly. With both of them arriving at Bakugo's location, they would see that the pro heroes are being beating the shit out of. Not only is there a lot of villains, there are also 6 basically quirk immune Nomus. Or should I say 5, because the mid-end Nomu, aka the USJ Nomu, is fighting against All Might one-on-one. And unlike the USJ Nomu is beating the living crap out of All Might. Kirishima saying, what do we do now, Baku bro? Deku saying, well, we can start by picking off those villains that are left alone. 3v1, right? Deku looking at where Bakugo was, seeing no one there. With Deku turning his head to see that Bakugo has the guts to just go up straight to the USJ Nomu and freaking explode him in the face, yelling, get off of All Might, you freak! With both Kirishima and Deku being, well, dumbfounded. Deku saying, there he goes. Well, we gotta support him. Come on, Kirishima. Right. As that will be the end of this part. Hope you guys enjoyed, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.